Everyone, welcome to Familiar Tarot Study Group. My name is Sonia. This is my buddy Eric. Hey, we're here to learn some tarot, and this week we are studying the Chariot, and of course, I was totally prepared to go live immediately. Evidently, I was not.
Here.
Nope, not that one. I was looking for something else that I like to start with. Of course, I can't find it. Oh, wait. Here we go. Okay, I found it. So, today is July the 12th, 2018. And we are going to study the Sevens in the Chariot. And welcome to Familiar, a tarot study group. Live from my place in downtown Toronto every month. We're starting just, downtown at my place so that, we can keep it nice and easy. I'm just sharing or posting to Facebook right now so that everybody has access. Sorry, working out cakes. We don't have anybody to do this stuff for us. So, yeah, welcome. Thanks for joining us. We're excited to have you. Don't forget to comment. There is a link to the Google Drive online if you want to follow along with our cheat sheets. And first and foremost, I would like to acknowledge that my house in Toronto is situated upon traditional territories. The territories include the Wendat, Anishinaabeg Nation, the Haudenosaunee Confederacy, the Mississaugas of the New Credit First Nations, and the Métis Nation. The territory was subject of the Dish with One Spoon Wampum Belt Covenant, an agreement between the Iroquois Confederacy and the Confederacy of the Ojibwe and allied nations to peaceably share and care for the resources around the Great Lakes. The treaty was signed for this particular parcel of land is collectively referred to as the Toronto Purchase and applies to the lands east of Brown's Line, and which is like super west of here, to Woodbine Avenue and north towards Newmarket. I also recognize the enduring presence of Aboriginal peoples on this land. Some people think that Native people are don't even exist. That's ridiculous. Today, the meeting place of Toronto is still home to many Indigenous people from across Turtle Island, and we are grateful, so grateful, to have the opportunity to live, work, and play in this community and on this territory. We are also mindful of broken covenants and the need to strive to make right with all our nations. This acknowledgement was an amalgamation of the acknowledgements written for the TDSB and Emmanuel College at University of Toronto, adapted from a revised statement by the Elders Circle from November 6, 2014. My name is Sonia, and as far as tarot is concerned, I received my first deck, which was the Tarot of Witches, when I was 9, and I've been trying to memorize them ever since, which is a whole lot of years. I could do a pretty good reading, but have always needed the book. So I conceived of this podcast and the monthly meetup it was based on, so I could actually try and remember them. And I hope that it helps you to remember what the meanings of the cards too. Welcome. The link to the Google Drive where you can download the cheat sheets is in the comments. And if you can spare a donation, I will run and get my Bitcoin address in a bit. So why don't you introduce yourself, Eric?
Yeah, so I'm Eric. I got my Science Tarot deck, about 10 years ago, and have done a number of readings with it, but I'm basically your tarot ignoramus.
I like the term noob.
Noob. Okay.
Noob with zeros, not O's.
Yeah, and so this has been really interesting for me so far, learning about the history of it and seeing, in fact, how much time and effort clearly went into this Science Tarot deck that I own, and they were clearly tarot masters as well as science masters. And
I think that's really cool too. So far as I know, tarot tarot's pretty old. It goes back to the 14th or 14 or 1500s, and it's rumored to be brought to Greece and Rome through from people who studied in Egypt, from the Gnostic Egyptian priests. Rumored. I mean, who knows where it really came from? But the meanings of the cards I've always found is really fascinating, and the how it just blends in with so many different esoteric ways of thinking. So obviously there was a lot went into it. So okay, cool. So I think I've got like 4 decks in front of me, and you've got 1. So let's see. I guess we'll start with the number 7, and we'll go through the elements, the suits, and then we can finish off with the Chariot and see how it all ties in. So what I can do is just quickly, I'm going to copy and paste my Google Drive to the top comment so that anyone, how does that even work? Oh, awesome. So it's not even letting me type anything. Oh, whoops, there we go. Okay, just had to clear something. Yay! Babushka's learning how to program this VCR, so please bear with me. So the cheat sheets are linked in here. So they're in my Google Drive public link. So download them while they're still free.
That link isn't going to go. I can tell already. It's too generic.
Really?
Well, because everybody's Google Drive has the same address.
Oh, does it?
Yeah.
Oh,
you need
is that how it happens?
You need to give them a link to the actual folder.
Oh, okay. I thought that's what I did.
Right here, get shareable link.
Yeah, that was it. Oh, okay. Ha. Okay. My bad. There we go. See, that's why I have Eric around, because he helps Babushka figure out the VCR.
That's way better.
Okay, there we go. So you can use the link and download the cheat sheets. And I did get them. I consulted a few different websites on numerology online, and as well, I've got like 7 books on tarot. So I tried to compile all of the different sources so that we can try and get a better sense of the overall connectedness of the cards, and a better overall sense of the meaning. All right, so let's see. Let's grab 7 here. So here's a neat one. This is the Pentacles from the Patch Tarot deck. So cool, 7s. The number 7 is the number of the spirit. These are the types of people where when they study purely academic subjects like math and science, they still come up with universal truths because their highly spiritual nature allows them to see the source energy in seemingly unrelated topics. This is generally not a number of spiritual authority, like a priest, but rather spiritual curiosity and investigation through subjects like STEM. 7 tends to be dualistic because it's a prime number. It can be only made through adding 2 other numbers, generally 3 plus 4, 3 equaling unbridled creativity, which we covered with the 3s and the Empress. I'm starting to remember stuff. This is a good sign. And number 4, which is pragmatism and practicality, also represented by the Emperor. So 7 tends to be a combination of the unbridled creativity plus pragmatism. It also relates to the Holy Grail, which was said to unite both the spiritual and material planes. We are also said to completely regenerate all cells in our bodies every 7 years. So 7 relates with a deep inner need to find meaning and spiritual connection in life. It's the number of the inventor, the loner, psychic, investigator, represents logic, discernment, and being discerning, seeking knowledge, science, alchemy, physics, evolution, independence, individualism, thoughtfulness, peace, poise. It's a lucky number associated with the Chariot of Apollo, which is interesting because we have the Chariot right? So this one is actually from the Ukiyo-e deck, and I'm excited to be looking at the little white book that comes with it for some meanings this time around, because they really do get into the lens of Shinto Buddhism and plants and animals for symbology, and that's pretty cool. Negatively, the 7 can indicate depression, pessimism, codependence, dependence, resentfulness. It also represents secrecy, mystery, intuition, introspection, rest, contemplation, meditation, sympathy, mastery. And that's a lot of like where I'm going with the new format for the podcast. It's a little bit more relaxed. I guess not so secret. I mean, I have no cupboard doors in my kitchen, so there are no secrets there. But we're trying to be a little more introspective on it. Philosophy, genius, study, learning, curiosity, stability, dignity, and foresight, which is a lot of what this podcast is about. So it's kind of like serendipitous that that's what this new style of familiar is reflecting. It also, 7 represents like don't give up, and it's also like not giving up when faced with obstacles, and finding a way and getting through it is a theme throughout the 7s in the tarot. Even the 7 of Swords. The 7 of Swords specifically is a pretty brutal looking card. Oh no, yeah, it is pretty brutal. It's not quite the one I was thinking, but that's why we're learning. So this one, that is the 7 of Swords in the traditional Rider-Waite-Smith, and it's generally thought of to be like, I look at it and I think of a dude who's trying to get away with some shit that he probably shouldn't be doing. So when it comes to don't give up, it's like find another way. Like you can accomplish goals without hurting anyone. Cool. So we can start with the wands. So let's see. Let me dig up my wand.
Start Rider-Waite.
Rider-Waite. Yep. We'll start with Rider-Waite. Okay, cool. So this is I wanted to start with science because that's my favorite one. So this is the Rider-Waite deck, the wands. And in my research for our cheat sheet, I thought it was really interesting. They pointed out something that I've been looking at these cards, well, without revealing too much, because I did say at the beginning how old I was when I got my first deck, but I've been looking at this picture of the 7 of Wands for almost around about 30 years. And I didn't notice, but look at his shoes. He's got 2 mismatched shoes, and that represents the struggle that he's going through to stay on even footing. In any case, it represents the struggle to stay on top against lower forces trying to knock you down. Because if you notice, the wands that are coming up against him are all lower. Competition, courage. It also represents like when you're at the top of your game, people are going to come for you. And this particular card represents that constant need to defend your title. It's also the will to carry on versus strong opposition. I mean, hey, Gabriel, good to know that you're on your computer. It also represents the will to carry on versus strong opposition. I mean, look at, like, right now, Wimbledon is going on. I think Wimbledon is going on, and Serena Williams is, again, another year she's dominating. That woman is amazing. But think of how many people are coming for her. Like, there are people, you know, the women in second, third place who only have, like, a few titles, where she has something like 17 worldwide titles. The girl in second place is gunning for her. And the 7 of Wands represents that kind of like, you need to be on your game. Like, apparently she tweeted the other day that she missed her baby's first word because she was training, you know, and that's what it takes to stay on top. And the Seven of Wands represents a kind of fiery disposition of staying on your game. You know, stay ready so you don't have to get ready.
On that note, the science card is called Expansion, and it has a picture of a red dwarf star. So this is the fiery part. Or sorry, not a red dwarf, of a red giant.
It's red something and fiery.
And basically the idea is it's a kind of a later stage in a star's life. It's kind of like our sun, but 5 billion years from now. And it represents a phase in its life when the core changes the way that it operates, and the star becomes 1,000 times bigger than it was. It vastly expands to encompass, you know, everything in our solar system, essentially.
Oh, wow. And
it's in this new phase where because the energy it's opening is much higher, it's like in this whole new domain of operating. And it says, although fiery pressures mark the beginning of your journey, these extensive later years allow creation with a wider reach and a denser inner core. We speak of finding your voice to describe this mature stage. Other duties and diversions may fall by the wayside as work consumes the days filled with creation and productivity.
Yeah, and that's, you know, that's kind of like the next thing that the cheat sheet said is that, you know, if you have the energy to keep up the struggle, then your victory is assured. Like, but you got to have the energy, because it takes a lot of energy to keep the haters at bay. Oh my God. And it's also the need to constantly prove yourself. And that totally fits the card. One thing I wanted to do with this particular podcast was explore the ukiyo-e deck. And so it's one of the harder decks. There's no hints to the meaning. Like when you read the meaning of the expansion card, you can see through the picture that you get a hint, right? But a lot of decks like this ukiyo-e one, okay, you've got 7 wands. Now interpret, go. So it's a more difficult one. However, there tend to be the meaning in this deck tends to be in the flowers and the animals. So so for this one, wow, this is a difficult flower to pronounce. It had to be that way. Okay, so hydrangeas. Hydrangea. Okay, cool. Hydrangeas thrive under a blue summer sky. Hydrangeas achieve what is normally impossible for plants. They bear on the same bush and even on the same cluster flowers of different colors ranging in hue from pink to lavender to deep baby blue. Thus, they are in keeping with the meaning of the Seven of Wands, victory over seemingly insurmountable odds. So I guess the hummingbird in this case, we don't really have an interpretation for her, but oh, that's too bad. I wish I knew what kind of bird that was. So it says success, overcoming obstacles and challenges, advantage and victory. So hydrangea. Okay, so I've learned about a new flower today. So that's pretty awesome. And what I wanted to do as well was compare with the Santa Muerte tarot, which tends to veer way far off from the traditional Rider-Waite. So this one is a path through the woods, it looks like. And the wands are represented by the trees surrounding the path. And it looks like, I think there are some skulls in it too. So that's pretty rad. And I keep flipping my book open to the Chariot page. Exactly. So that's, everything means something. It's fate or whatever. Sorry for being a little unprepared for this. Okay, so a moment of great rush of energy, openness, and growth towards the heights. So I guess that's the trees. The Seven of Wands brings with it collaboration, actions, Structures that are already complete and formed, but precisely for this reason, if the tendency towards excessive conservatism, it should cause discussions, indecisions, and friction. Make a decision quickly, even consulting people around you, in order to proceed and go ahead, as this is not yet the time to put down roots. So I'm a little confused by that.
I agree, it's quite different than the other
Yeah,
cards.
it's super different. And based on the numerology, they obviously didn't get the meaning from the numerology or the Rider-Waite. So I'm really confused about where that meaning comes from. Gabrielle says that feeling trapped into a fight that you don't want to have, winning a fight by rather unusual means, holding off your enemies. Yeah, that's just like the cheat sheets. Being asked to do an impossible task like the hydrangeas, and that's the Alice Tarot meaning. Awesome. I don't know where I put my phone. Oh, here it is. So, everybody might have been tweeting and texting me, and I wouldn't even know. As is the case with, going live off the cuff. I actually, I'll just say I want to thank you, Gabrielle, for giving us the idea to do this podcast, because without you, we'd still be just hanging out at Hack Lab eating cookies and, not really broadcasting and meeting new friends around the world. So this is pretty awesome. So thank you, Gabrielle. And I'm just going to see if you wanted to, you could tweet me the Alice card, and I can show it to the gang. So it's at Familiar Tarot on Twitter if you want, or if anybody else, any other of the one people up on the screen there wanted to to tweet. Maybe next session we'll have more people. It's all good. We're gonna keep doing this, and it's gonna keep being awesome. So just for shits and giggles, I wanted to look at the Patch Tarot because they actually just sent me an email. Oops, that's not the right card. They just sent me an email wherein they are updating. They are updating the cards, so I had to buy them. I just bought them after Christmas, and now I need to buy more, because what is the correct amount of tarot decks that you should own? The formula is N+1, N representing the number that you already have, and +1 meaning that's how many you need. So this is a Patch Tarot one. There it is. So this guy is a warrior struggling to maintain his position against powerful forces. All he has is his courage to see the experience through. The forces below him rise up to challenge his position and knock him off his position. Even though he has the higher ground, his uneven footing will prove difficult in this challenge. So you can't see his shoes, but I think the uneven footing is what's represented with the Rider-Waite Smith having two different shoes on. Represents his uneven footing. So he's still going hard, and he's going to defend himself against his opposition, even though he's got his uneven footing. And in this, the wands coming up at him are hands. So that's pretty
Terrifying.
It's kind of scary, and I can kind of feel the tension of it. It all comes down to the will to survive, the fighting spirit. Do you have what it takes to hold firm to what you believe and maintain your position against those who seek to knock us down, no matter how daunting or frightening the scenario might be? If you stay true to your heart and never give up, it is by the strength of your courage that you may overcome this opposition. So that's pretty, the Patch Tarot stays pretty faithful to the Rider-Waite Smith and Kabbalah. So if anybody wanted to teach me Kabbalah, I'm right here, and I'd love to learn it. Cool. So, do you want to read the description for the
Sure.
the swords? Yeah. Do you want to read the cheat sheet description, and then you can get into the science deck?
Yeah. So swords are about 7 of swords. Is deception, betrayal, cunning, or trying to gain advantage or get away with deviousness. Represents unwise attempts, unreliability, and trying to escape the consequences of a despicable act. Find another way. Don't be a dick.
Yeah, he's a dick. Like, look at him. He's like straight up teeth and swords. And I think you can even see, again, with the books that I was reading and stuff, you can kind of see a little bit in the background there. Those are actually figures in the background. He's been caught. He's been found out, and he's about to get his ass handed to him. So, like, this, in keeping with the spirit of the sevens, this one is like, don't give up, but don't keep doing it like that. Don't be an asshole. Seriously. You're fucking up if you look like this.
The science card is, unsurprisingly, right on point again. It's the chaos theory card. So this is the idea that small, tiny things like the flapping of a butterfly's wing set off consequences down the line that might cause like a hurricane in a different continent or something.
And that's cool. Let me see the card. There's a big old tornado.
There's a big old tornado in the background.
Oh, and there's like, and if you look, there's like, wait, I'm trying to get the angle right. If you look, there's physics coming out of the butterfly's wings. There's like math and probability coming out of the butterfly's wings starting this tornado.
It says, Hero's Journey Step 7, return with new knowledge into everyday life. The hero discovers the complex results of prior actions. It says the results of our actions are often complex, powerful, and unpredictable. Struggling to control the distant ripples we launch with every gesture can be a crippling mistake. It may be better to simply ride the wind and follow its course.
Cool. And it's, again, this is your life. Everything means something. Ooh, ooh, ooh. This was actually the butterfly that I saw outside when we were having dinner. We had a barbecue before we started Familiar, so that I didn't eat cookies the entire time like every other podcast. And this was actually the same type of butterfly or moth or something. Like, it's not like a brighter one. The colors are a little duller, and it's orange. But the same guy was flittering around my patio, so that was really cool. Oh my gosh, Gabrielle! I just got a message from Gabrielle. She just got the tiniest tarot ever.
Tiny tarot card?
Yeah, like look at this. Okay, so I'm about to, yeah. So look at this insane, that's the size of her tarot. There's her little finger, and that's the card in her finger. And she's showing us the 9 of Pentacles. It's like super duper blurry, but I can tell which one it is. Wow, Gabrielle, that's really awesome.
Tiny tarot. It's for tiny life mistakes.
Tiny life. Yeah. Well, it's kind of neat. It would be a really interesting system of drawing from, because you could just throw them in a shot glass and have someone pick out one tarot card and see how it applies to their life.
Or you could do the world's largest reading. You could have like 30 of them, and it would still be like
take up like no room. Okay, cool. We're on swords, right? Okay, cool.
We're on swords, yeah.
So I'm gonna check the ukiyo-e one. Maybe I should have bookmarked these. I don't know.
Something.
All right, so
are
you sure? Okay, thank you. All right. Oh, I had it like 2 seconds ago, I swear. Okay, here it is. The plum blossom is the first flower of the year, often described poetically in Japanese literature as being covered with snow. It heralds the dawn of spring, and as such is the emblem of hope and new meanings. Okay. New plans, wishes, fortitude, perseverance, endeavor, hope, confidence, fantasy, and design. All right.
That's kind of the opposite of the other things.
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay. Cool. Tarot is a fine-tuned science. All right. Cool. So let's see what else do we have. So we looked at the Rider-Waite. Let's check out Patch. See what he's saying. I'm not sure if I got all of them out though. Did it? Oh, there it is. He's at the bottom. Cool. And the cool thing with Patch Tarot, I call it my bubblegum tarot because it's really super cute. And the cool thing about it is that they added 3 major arcana to after the world. So you have the world, then you have, no, it's 4. So you have the way, the truth, the light, and the all. So those are looked at as the God cards or the spirit cards. So that's one neat thing about this deck. You get 82 cards instead of 78. And they're all very cartoony. They're all like lots of multicolors in it.
Yeah, the backs are super colorful too.
The backs are super colorful. Like they're meant to represent, like, you know, the bridge between science and spirit. And just before we get into that, Gabrielle said that she tweeted us her Alice tarot. Come on. Oh, cool. Yay. I got it. We are integrating. Oh, wow. She gave us a video of her card. Oop. I know we got glare. It is what it is. Cool. Let's try it again.
It's shiny.
Shiny. Awesome. Shiny, Captain. I'm going to make this brighter because I think that, there we go. I like to keep my phone a little bit dark to save battery. So that is a little better, right? There you go. You can see it a little bit better. One of these days we'll perfect this technology and we'll figure it out. The Wand card. Okay, so that was the 7 of Wands. Let's see. There we go. There, that's a little bit more detail. I took the brightness down a little bit. There we go. Oh, and there's a bunny rabbit at the bottom. Now I can see what's going on, not just a hand. Awesome. Oh, follow the white rabbit. All right, so let's check out Patch Tarot, the 7 of Wands. And generally, oh, sorry, 7 of Swords. Generally, they stay pretty true to the Rider-Waite, and they add Kabbalah to it. So the 7 of Swords, 6 warriors stand facing an enemy. Oh, very cool. Instead of having one person fighting it off, it's several. Their swords pointed towards him. The enemy points his sword back. A standoff is imminent, but there is a wish for compromise, even if it is unlikely. Here there is strife. The 6 of Swords are all unique and weak on their own. Or the 6 swords are all unique and weak on their own, where the might of the single sword is strong and enduring. The equation is balanced in its opposition. This is a contest between 6 feeble and 1 strong. A road which leads to anarchy and destiny. I love anarchy. The 7 of Swords is a reunion of conflicting energies and embodies the essence of deception, opposition, and the attempt to get away with something. Again, it's very, very true to this dickhead here. He's trying to get away with shit. I don't like him. Here there is trickery, cheating, and intentional confusion, all of which are bound to fail. This card shows that ultimately they are bound to their fate no matter how many tricks they are willing to employ.
Do you know what the animal is doing in the middle? It's got the 6 guys and the 1, and then there's this like weird tiger sort of guy.
Yeah, it doesn't mention that.
Yeah.
There is a more descriptive book for Patch Tarot. The Patch Tarot, but it's only available in PDF. And believe me, you don't want me to load the PDF. Look for the card, see if the description is in there. So, excellent question. I'm going to look up the answer and post it down below in the comments. I will comment on it when I find out what the heck that animal is. And it's kind of interesting because the animal doesn't have a weapon, but his tail is a tuft of fire. So that's pretty interesting. And I'm going to check out the Santa Muerte. This one's a pretty rad looking card. And it looks like a grizzled old dude who just wants some rest.
Yeah, he's actually sitting in a coffin.
Yeah, well, the Santa Muerte is actually kind of a little bit backwards because the Fool is actually raising from the dead. So the Fool is coming up from his grave and he's just getting started. So they're a little bit backwards that way. So let's see what this has to say. We are still in a crisis moment, but having reflected and reasoned, we have managed to open the barrier that kept us isolated and see a new hope born. The Seven of Swords opens up new roads, new projects, and a renewed trust through which we can overcome debate, gossip, or problems directly connected to fear. Look around you and realize that nothing can block your road anymore. Therefore, persevere and concentrate all your energies without sparing yourself. So maybe I had it backwards, like because if the Fool in the Santa Muerte Tarot is just getting up and just getting started, then maybe this guy has just finished his rest and he's ready to get back in the game. So that kind of makes sense.
I can say in the science deck, all of the sevens are basically like the hero has accomplished something momentous and is taking a pause before he returns home. That's where the sevens are.
Yeah, like expansion, and even the butterfly is traveling or going somewhere. Yeah. Cool. So moving right along, the Seven of Cups represents. There we go. This is a dude standing and watching, looking at a whole bunch of cups happening, appearing in front of him. Sorry for your toe there. It represents an overactive imagination, daydreaming, being lost in fantasy land, too many options in life. It can actually represent like not daydreaming so much, but actually being confronted with so many options that you don't even know what to choose or which way forward. So too many options and the inability to choose, an illusion. You should clarify your position by looking within for answers. Not is all as it appears, a disorganization and a lazy attitude. So I think the caution is not to become lazy, because if you do have, a million options at your fingertips, it's almost like I'm picturing how do I say this without incriminating myself on YouTube? So it's almost like having American Netflix as a Canadian. There is so much stuff that you can watch. There's personally, I love Gem and the Holograms. They even have Gem and the Holograms. That's like an 80s cartoon. And so if you're sitting there, have you ever sat there and said, I want to watch something on Netflix, and you went to Netflix and you got your TV all set up and you're ready to go, and you're like, you just don't even know what to choose, and you end up watching nothing and playing on Instagram for a few hours instead of watching the movie that you wanted to. So that's what I'm picturing.
The science card actually is choices.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it says, well, I guess we'll talk about the picture first. The picture is actually of a lion and a deer, or a gazelle.
Gazelle. Looks like a gazelle.
And basically,
ibex.
It's the description here is all about, like, sometimes you have to make decisions far quicker than logic will let you make them.
Yeah, if you have to, because you are going towards, and if you're a lion and you're on the hunt, you're heading into an entire herd of
and of course, if you're the gazelle, your life is at stake. Either you'll be alive in 1 minute or you won't. So it says here, there are many tools available for making decisions, employing logic, analyzing options, or asking advice. The most powerful tool for solving complex problems may be the one most difficult to fully understand, the subconscious mind that harbors emotions, identifies patterns, and processes information in ways the conscious mind does not. When logic becomes overwhelmed with too many options, complexities, and contradictions, it may be best to go with your gut. And so that references back to the, like, you should look within for answers.
Yeah, like, just chase the one that's lame and sick, man. That's how you make your decision.
You know, go to the right because that's the way everyone is going. The guy who went left, that's the gazelle that didn't make it.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay, so, and this is our, Gabrielle's back in the game. This is our 7 of Swords. She's got her shiny Alice in Wonderland card that she's showing us through Twitter. Here's her 7 of Cups. Oh, wow. That is gorgeous. It's Alice, and oh, it's when she's in the garden of the Queen of Hearts, and there's all the flowers that are talking to her.
Nice card.
Yeah, that's so cool. Cool. So I'll look at the Ukiyo-e tarot. Oh, excuse me, man. We had such a good dinner. That's the beauty of summer. My apartment gets like sweltering hot during our heat waves up here in Toronto. And yes, it's Canada, but we do get heat waves and it gets really hot. But the positive is that I can barbecue every night. Okay, so Gabrielle, oh my God, I need to see them in person. I do, we do. It's just, I may as well take a little pause to explain why we decided not to have like the group podcast this time, and maybe not for a bit. It was just that I'm in school right now and it's really intense. So organizing, trying to promote, trying to get people out, you know, the day of coming home from school, run into the grocery store, not having time to eat dinner. So like eating cookies during a podcast instead. It was just getting a little much, and the pressure to actually get more people to Hack Lab, I found was just really damaging to me. Because I'm not good at promoting. I do fun things, but it's really hard for me to get a lot of people to come and do fun things with me. So I decided to just have like me and Eric just hanging out in my apartment, learning stuff with you guys, hearing, you know, getting your comments, seeing your tweets, all of that stuff. It's just a little bit easier. Than actually organizing an event. So that, and, you know, I think our last podcast, the group one, my friend Dan came in, and Dan's an artist. So, you know, you can't keep him on topic. He goes off in all types of directions. He has good jokes, crazy ideas. He's like really fun and really awesome. But I found myself wanting him to stop talking so we could get on with the podcast. And I thought, you know what? That's not what Familiar is about. Familiar, like getting together and talking about tarot, is not about wanting one person to stop so that we could, you know, concentrate on a cheat sheet. It's about getting together and hanging out. So this way it's just easier with 2 people. We can do our podcast. We can, you know, play with the cheat sheet and get our little white books together and discuss stuff. But then, you know, as soon as I'm out of school and I can actually throw an event, hopefully by then the podcast will gain a little bit more momentum. We can get more people out and have a more lively discussion that's not broadcast, that is just more personal and more fun. Because it's about, you know, hanging out, talking, and the thing with like even broadcasting on radio, like you have to be very mindful of when someone else is talking, and when 2 people are talking at the same time, it just gets confusing for the watcher. And I feel like the being together is more important than live streaming when it comes to getting together, you know? So don't worry, we'll keep doing the podcast. We'll keep hanging out. We'll keep learning. We'll keep our reading from our white books. And as soon as I'm done school and have some time, then we'll start getting together again and eating cookies for dinner. Because it's important. So, moving along. Oh, yes. The Ukiyo-e Tarot. This one's going to be interesting because we have a river and some grass in there. 7 of Cups. Bees fly over stream that wanders through the grass. It's easy to spend a summer day by a lazy brook, dreaming the day away while the industrious bees gather nectar in the sun. Fantasy, imagination, daydreams, foolish whims, illusionary success. So that's really interesting. That's pretty close to the Rider-Waite. And I think that is one of the cards that I was unable to get out from the Patch Tarot.
Missing it?
Yeah.
But you got all 5. It should be here.
No, there's one at the bottom. Is the wrong one?
Oh, yeah. I see.
Yeah, I got 4 of them and then got confused. As I am apt to do. Did you? Oh, okay, yeah, you did. You had choices. That was yours. I was like, cool, you can read yours, but maybe not so much. Yay, I know you love watching us look through things. Okay, I think, oh, here it is. Found it. Awesome. Cool. So, I'm going to show that one. So there's our 7 of Cups that we're going to be looking at with Patch Tarot. And again, it looks like it's the same dreams and castles in the air and the need for
like monsters coming out of the cups. And
monsters and happy things too, right? Isn't there? Well, there's a laurel leaf and some money.
Yeah,
and that
but
guy
also
looks pretty
a snake
happy.
and a hand and a dragon.
Yeah, that's pretty much Rider-Waite there. Okay, so a patch floats through a cloudy realm and observes the multitude of possibilities suspended around it. 7 cups appear to him in his dreamlike state, showing all that can be experienced from riches to phantoms, serpents, and dragons. But which one is right? Only one will lead him where his soul really wishes to go. There is only one path of the heart. However, finding it may be more difficult than the mind, as the mind can easily play tricks on us and get confused by the shimmer and seduction of the outside world. Only one pathway will take you to where you want to go, and to know this path, you need only feel it in your heart. So again, we have pretty close to Rider-Waite. And Santa Muerte, which always veers completely off script. And maybe I will get some Post-its next time so that I don't...
You can sticky them, yeah.
Yeah, so I can bookmark it. Okay, so 7 of Chalices, as the level implies, reveals itself to be particularly active. This is a card of hope, energy, and new creative and artistic projects. Again, it looks like we have a whole bunch of cups on a shelf, which look like they're asking us to choose one. It doesn't look like much of anything is in them, so that's hopeful, I guess, because you can fill it with whatever you want. Only in certain circumstances can its significance be corrupted, bringing instead sterile fantasies without an outlet, errors of judgment, or ingenuity. Persevere in your projects and in your desires, having first thought them through and keeping your feet on the ground. So that's actually pretty, it's getting humid in my apartment. We're sticking to stuff. So that's actually pretty on point too. So maybe what I can do is I'll read the first part of the Chariot. And
well, we need to do Pentacles first before you go.
Do we? Oh.
Yeah, you're missing a whole suit.
I'm half asleep. Okay, cool. So where did they go?
I only say that because I think that the science one is the best of the 4 for Pentacles.
I think the science one's pretty awesome no matter what. So, okay, cool. So Pentacles. This is our traditional Rider-Waite. We've got the dude pausing in the middle of his harvest, and I don't know, the look on his face, he doesn't look like he's not done. He's not done. He's not out for the count. Reevaluation, a pause during the development of an enterprise, reassessment, rest, regrouping, growth. It's a slow progress. So, you know, kind of, I guess, the concept of between the planting and the harvest. You can't rush that. Well, I guess you could in a greenhouse, but he's going organic. Slow progress, patience, attention to detail, planning for the future. Haste will be less progress, and careful decisions need to be made.
The science card is right on point.
Here, I'll hold it. I'll hold it if you want. And
So
you
it
can read.
has a picture of a glacier in a mountain valley, and it says,
wow.
it takes millions of years for glaciers to create a valley like Yosemite or for a river to carve a Grand Canyon. Bit by bit, the world is completely transformed through these slow, gradual changes in the environment. These natural forces, tremendous powers of nature, may operate so slowly as to escape notice. A glance at an autumn landscape first reveals fallen leaves and brown grasses, but a deeper investigation reveals the accomplishments of a slower, more powerful flow. The future may be drawn from that deeper channel. Align yourself with it to accomplish your goals and have patience with the glacial perspective of time.
Wow. That is mind-blowing. Wow. You know, honestly, the science tarot is on like some whole other level, man. And let's see, we got a message from Gabrielle, and I want to see if she is showing us. Oh, she's onto the chariot already. Oh, and we got hers. She's showing us the seven of coins. Cool. Go. Oops, that's her chariot. Wow, 7 of coins. That's awesome. So I'm trying to avoid the glare there. Cool. Any glare is from Gabrielle's side. So that is her Alice in Wonderland tarot. That is rad. 7 in the Alice tarot. Becoming confused by listening too much to others. Having all sorts of contradictory info given to you. And you know what? That makes a lot of sense because it seems like the 7 of Cups in general, or 7 of Coins. Oh, whoops, sorry. I'm revisiting the 7 of Cups for Gabrielle. It seems like the concept of the 7 of Cups is that you've got too much going on. There's too much going on, even with the ukiyo-e one. There's like too much going on, or a lot of stuff going on with the bees working and stuff. And let's see. Her 7 of Coins is realizing that you've made a mistake, making a quick fix in a project, and covering up a blunder. And that's kind of weird because that's almost the exact opposite of the Rider-Waite, which is about taking a pause slow. Yeah, a pause and being slow. So I wonder what the deal is with the Alice tarot, because again, they're going right off script. So that's kind of interesting that you have different tarot decks that will go completely the opposite of the conventions that were or the standards and conventions that were established with the Rider-Waite. And the Pentacles.
Which one shall I hold up?
This one, please. All right, so the 7 of Pentacles in the ukiyo-e deck. It's daffodils. Narcissus thrive in the spring rain. This kind of narcissus has been carefully bred to attain a dainty beauty. Ingenuity, hard work, progress, successful dealings, wealth. Now, that's interesting because it does have to do with growing a plant and productivity that way, but it doesn't mention the slow progress of, what was the wording? It it doesn't allude too much to the process, the actual process of carefully breeding flowers and plants to be what you want them to be. And like, you know, obviously with genetic manipulation, it happens very quickly. You can just pop out a gene from here, pop it in over there, and your new plant will express those genes, like, you know, within a generation. But you know, when it comes to actually cultivating a specific trait or whatever with plants, it is a very slow process with that. So it's kind of interesting. I think we're ready to move on to our final card, which is the Chariot. Chariot. Cool. Oh, whoops. We forgot the Santa Muerte. Too much stuff going on at once. Okay. So this is really interesting. It's an abacus. It's a dude with an abacus. And generally with the pentacles, it has to do with, you know, reaping harvest and business. It's the merchant. It represents the merchant class. Don't worry, I'm finding it. I'm getting it. Almost there. Getting there. We're close. Damn it. Yeah, maybe sticky notes are in order. Okay, cool. Our ideas have entered the world successfully, and we can concretely evaluate and count what we have earned, won, or generated. The Seven of Pentacles brings progress and success with further perspectives of growth. Only the fear of losing what we have attained could obscure our mind and cause us to make mistakes in some investment, generating restlessness or impatience. Stay calm and reflect before acting with careful movements. Your well-being and earnings will continue without problems. So it sounds like not like ignoring the patience part of the Pentacles. The Santa Muerte Tarot pretty much hits it on the head. And the Chariot and Alice Tarot, speed and patience, making a leap forward, unstoppable, taking a journey by rapid means of transport, being swept away by something or perhaps someone. Thank you for typing all that out, Gabrielle. We do appreciate it over on our side. And this is Gabrielle's Alice Tarot for the Chariot. Wow, that's pretty wild. So, oh man, there's a weird old goat in there. Cool. So, our final card, the Chariot. Sitting beneath a canopy of stars representing celestial influences at work, the charioteer's tunic, symbols of alchemy, represent humankind's spiritual transformation. He wears the laurel, or is it the yanny? Sorry, bad joke. He wears the laurel and star crown of humankind's highest spiritual evolution. The wings on the chariot, as well as both the sphinxes that drive it, express union of opposing forces. He leaves the materialism and civilization of the city behind him to pursue spiritual quests. The Fool has built up energy to this point. Now, as he moves forward, he's carried away by the momentum. Conquest, victory, overcoming opposition through confidence and control, and tremendous motion. So, it's very similar to the patch. The patch tarot, we have the Egyptian sphinxes symbology, as well as the warrior driving the chariot with armor on. And he's also got the, it looks like the Star of David, the Flower of Life, and maybe a little bit of Metatron's cube there in the middle. He looks like he's totally in the ethereal realm. He doesn't look like he's anywhere on the earthly plane at all. And cool. You want to get sciencey with it?
Yeah, sure.
I'm going to do it?
Sure. Yeah, so the science card actually shows a chariot, but it's a chariot in space. It's clear they're moving from the Earth to the moon. And the chariot is actually being pulled by both a rocket ship and an airplane.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it says the chariot carries us between opposites, from the world we know well to the places we have never been. Imagination can be balanced by calculation, ambition with caution. When we gain control over ourselves, our emotions, and the forces of nature, we can escape the gravity of the familiar world and reach our higher ideals.
Wow. That's rad. That's awesome. Ooh. I also had once I had a Halloween tarot deck, and it was really cute. It was, it looked like it was drawn mostly like hand drawn with pencil crayon for the most part. And I'll never forget, it was like a Jack Skellington, like jack-o'-lantern pumpkin head driving a hearse. And I just remember that image, and he looked like a crazy person. He looked really nuts, and he just looked like he was going to drive the hearse over absolutely everything and anything he wanted. Like, it was just, move, bitch, get out the way, get out the way, like some on some ludicrous shit. Cool. So what's Gabrielle saying? The tarot card has a mosquito at the chariot card has a mosquito at the bottom. All right. Let's call it up and look at it from Twitter. Oh, it totally does. It totally does. There's you can see right. It's a little difficult to see, but there's
yeah, you can make out the legs and the wings there.
Yeah, he's like right there. What's like? Wow.
Why?
Yeah, why? What's he doing there? Is he like just shaking shit up? He's just there to make sure that everybody at the party stays on their toes. This is our ukiyo-e tarot, and of course the chariot is going to be a palanquin. How do you say that? Palanquin?
Palanquin? Something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, see, this is... I've got all the difficult words to pronounce. Hydrangeas? Hydrangeas? Yeah, I can read words in theory. In traditional tarot decks, the chariot depicts a victorious warrior. Japanese heroes were often warriors whose deeds of valor took place in both natural and supernatural battles. Raiko was a Genji who lived in the 11th century. At one time, he was called on to slay a band of Oni, or demons, that were raiding houses in the mountains and stealing women. The leader of the Oni, an adept with the sword, feasted on human blood. Fuck yeah. Yeah. All right. Raiko and his men, distinguished as pilgrim priests, hiding their armor beneath monks' robes, went into the mountain hideaway where the Oni lived. After putting the demons off guard by serving them a magical drink and performing a dance, Raiko and his warriors charged them, beheading the leader. The severed head of the leader, in a hideous rage, attacked Raiko, but the warriors defeated the demons and rescued several captive women. Damn it, Japan rules. On the chariot, the figure of the warrior is veiled by the screen of the chariot, reflecting Raiko's disguise for his attack on the mountain Oni. 4 men carry his chariot. Raiko is often depicted with 4 loyal companions. The lesson of the chariot is that cunning can aid physical prowess. The daring strength and ingenuity of Raiko and his band enabled them to defeat a powerful fortress of demons. Now, I need to look at this too. Wow, he's rad. He's just sitting there. He's right there. That's not actually a pillow. That's Raiko's legs crossed, and that's probably a fan, or yeah, he's holding something in his hands, but he is shaded by the curtain or shade there, the bamboo shade. That's pretty rad. The meaning is adversity possibly already overcome. Turmoil, vengeance, success. possible voyage or journey, escape, perplexity, the need for attention to details, urgency to gain control over one's emotions, which is also in line with the traditional Rider-Waite. Balance of physical and mental power brings glory. Hell yeah! That's a nice one. That one's pretty kick-ass. So gaining momentum and or speed, facing a situation head-on, sustained high-energy activity. Intention seen through to action, moving towards a clear goal. Success, determination, and morality. Control over baser instincts, drives, thoughts, courage, discipline, willpower, and triumph. As well, being pulled in two directions. I'm getting this from the cheat sheet, not from the patch tarot, but you can see generally in the traditional Rider-Waite and also in patch tarot, the two lions or the sphinxes in the Rider-Waite, they're facing in two different directions, which is it's indicative of the baser nature of man and needing to get it under control. The chariot, oh wow, this is absolutely beautiful. The chariot in the Santa Muerte is more like the funeral chariot. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Eric, for finding the page in the book. A new creative beginning or a new injection of energy will be guaranteed to those who do not renounce the fight and the challenge, carried forward by their own will and embracing their own projects with conviction, courage, sincerity, and ownership. There is no sense in suffocating the animal energy in us, but rather sublimate it, control it with the determination, and channel it the right way. An excess of this could cause arrogance and possessiveness, and in worst cases, repression, hard-headedness, and egoism, or the contrary when it is absent. Staticity, like being static. Insecurity and weakness. Act without hesitation, with strength and courage, completely trusting that you have built and learned what you have built and learned in order to arrive here and to attain what you desire. Another interesting thing that comes to mind is in the Book of the Samurai, the Hagakure. They said that one of the tenets was that you should make your decisions within 7 breaths and act with the determination to break through to the other side. And that kind of falls in line with the chariot. Looks like Gabrielle says her little tarot book is calling her mosquito a gnat, but it looks like a mosquito to her. So let's zoom in on your gnat, Gabrielle. That's not a gnat. That's a mosquito.
It's totally a mosquito.
Gnats don't look like that at all. That's not a gnat. I think you're right. It's a mosquito.
It's even got a proboscis.
Gnats don't have that. Do they?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either, man. So I'm just making sure. Maybe it didn't end up getting shared into. Maybe I didn't end up sharing it in the group. Thought I shared this in the group, though. Well, I guess it's a little late. We're almost done. We're wrapping it up. So
people can watch it later.
Yeah, you can watch it later, but we still want to hang out and comment. So just quickly sharing the link. I'm pretty sure I shared it. I shared it through the YouTube sharing what's its thing. So I don't know what happened there. So
turns out gnats totally look like mosquitoes.
Oh, gnats totally look like mosquitoes. Show wow. But does it have a proboscis though?
No, it doesn't, but it's hard to tell. They have a lot of weird things.
Yeah, that one wait, that one right there looks a lot like a mosquito. Yeah. Wow. Oops. We're learning all kinds of things today. Gnats look like mosquitoes. We keep cutting out. The stream seems to be lagging on Jay's end. Yeah, sure. Okay, well, it's good to know that it's shared. And it could be like with streaming, you just never know. It could be a matter of like it could be my internet connection, it could be your internet connection. But
Facebook.
Yeah, it could be Facebook, it could be YouTube. You know, it could be my computer. I don't have like a $2,000 thing, but don't worry, Jay. It's probably my internet or Facebook's. I'm just teasing, but I'm sure when you watch again, it'll buffer properly and not be so sticky. Cool. So it looks like we've got like one deck left to check. And then we can wrap this right the heck up.
Which one you want this one?
Yeah, it's the patch, which generally is right in line with the Rider-Waite Smith. So
yeah, the picture is similar, and actually we've already shown it. But
yeah, he's just bubblegum, man. He's so cute. So the Chariot is now the full embodiment of all the alchemized ingredients of the past, which, just for a quick review, the Fool, the Magician, the Priestess, the Emperor, the Empress, the Hierophant, the Lovers, and the Chariot. So in the traditional Rider-Waite, I'm not going to show this too much. I can link to the PDF document where I have all of the Rider-Waites on the same page. Traditionally, all of the symbols of each of the previous cards are contained within the Chariot. So this is where the Chariot is where all of the buildup and the tools from each of the previous cards tips over the fulcrum, and now we are like fully in action mode. The Chariot is driving over all obstacles. Nothing can stop it, and the momentum is just heaving it forward like a track bike. Moving forward with tremendous motion, it is depicted by a suit of armor who holds a great disc, the accumulation of power that is built up thus far. The pull of the Chariot embodies our pull forward, whether that be an emotional pull, a spiritual ascent, or a physical longing to be somewhere, with excellent control and tremendous determination. When you draw the Chariot, it stands to represent your forward motion or conquest in life, overcoming the challenges you face with determination and applying your wisdom to whatever new tests it may face. It encourages you to be bold and daring. You have now created enough motion in your life that your projects or aspirations now pull you, and you don't have to push them anymore. So you can let them guide you. You will steer your ship right to where you want to be. So, I mean, I guess if this comes up in your reading, you know, full steam ahead, go for it. Whatever you thought was holding you back, it's irrelevant, absolutely irrelevant. It's almost like I feel it's the stage. It's the stage just before the Wands starts. So the Wands is when you have to fight to maintain your position. This is where you're not even fighting. You're just gaining ground. You're gaining momentum. You're gaining the job that you wanted. You're getting it all. And it's before the haters start flexing their claws and trying to dig into your back. It's accepting and controlling your emotions, self-discipline, the need for continued effort, which may be continued effort to just control your damn self and not freak the hell out that, you know, your life is just kicking all the ass. And seeking order within yourself. Mental and physical powers lead to fulfillment. So everything that you need to succeed, you have within yourself. It's just a matter of getting control over it, harnessing it, and like directing it to the goal that you're concerned with attaining. Harness your energy and apply it wisely, and you will overcome any obstacle and do not accept defeat. Movement in life, success through persistence. So kick-ass card, man. Just, you know, when you get the Chariot, you're kicking all the ass. And it looks like overall the sevens, yeah, the sevens just seem to be let's see, what do we got? We have the wands was the struggle to stay at top. The swords was the deception and betrayal. But and then the cups was the dreams or castles in the air, and the pentacles was the pause and reevaluation. But all in all, it looks like sevens are a really positive card, and that, you know, when I look at the Seven of Swords, like, it seems like just the guy's tactics don't have to be used. I mean, who knows? I mean, I don't know. A desperate dude in a desperate situation. You never really know. But in general, the sevens seem to be pretty powerful, pretty positive, and, you know, according to the numerology, it's the blend between the spirituality and spiritual plane and the material plane, and creativity mixed with pragmatism. So, all right. There you have it, the sevens and the Chariot. I hope you enjoyed me talking incessantly and flashing cards at you. I'm just taking one last quick look at Twitter to make sure that we've got everybody's tweets. Everybody's had a chance to join in. Gabrielle's kicking all the butt, giving us pictures of her cards and showing us online.
Maybe while you look there, I'll just show
the science
cards. Yeah. So I feel like it sort of echoes what you said earlier, right? Glacial, choices, expansion, chaos theory, and technology are the names here. And I think in general, they're all positive. The swords one, chaos theory, like the interpretation of that as betrayal, the science deck is actually a little more positive than that. Like, chaos theory is not so much that you're being betrayed, it's that you couldn't have known in advance how it was going to turn out. Things were too complex.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know, perhaps, you know, you never know what the dude's motivation is in the seven. Like, maybe, you know, maybe he didn't figure his life was going to end up in that direction either. You know, no one grows up as a kid and says, "Yo, I want to be a sword thief." But anyway, thanks a lot for joining us. I hope you like the view of my couch and my cupboards with no doors. Hopefully you can you know, replay this, share with your friends, comment. There's still time to comment. I will be checking it, and I will be forwarding stuff to Eric so that everybody has a chance to check it out. Correct me where I'm wrong. I really want to know. Like, I'm not trying to be, you know, the be all and end all. I don't have a mentor here. You guys are my mentor. So, you know, we welcome the feedback. You can tweet us at Familiar Tarot. We are on Facebook. Familiar Tarot Reader Study Group. I'm sharing the link right now in the comments, and please join. Post, I don't know, funny tarot memes. I like, you know, we're all friends here, right? And you know, before you know it, I'll be letting you guys know when the next meetup is in Toronto. So live from Toronto. Thanks a lot for joining us, and yeah, good night, Eric.